U.S. Senate, the president's budget was defeated 97-0. So in the last 2 years, the president's budget has received 0 votes in the Congress because of the current path. So the president's budget, if you look at 50 years or 60 years or 70 years, it never balances. And that's the problem. So there are people that made proposals, and like I said, there were 6 or 7 different proposals that were taken up. This is the one that actually eventually passed, which would, we'll see what, move to the next slide here. That shows, this is when the CBO computer shuts down, is right there. But this is what happens if we wait. That number out here, the trillions of dollars we'd be borrowing in the out years, is what was in 09, 62.9, then in 2010 it was 76.4 trillion, this T is trillion, and then in 2011 it's 99.6. So waiting is not an option. And I think that's why Representative Van Hollen, the Democrat, and Representative Ryan, the Republican, both said we have got to act. We do. We have to do something. Do I like everything in this budget? No, I don't. However, I do like its path. I like the path that's going to be on. Show the next slide. Because here's what I was telling you about. We're here. You can see here's Spain, and we're actually a little bit beyond Spain, Portugal, Ireland, Italy, Greece. All of them, their economies. This one is the worst. It's 152% of their entire product is the debt. So this is the percentage of their gross and domestic product versus their debt, and this is 152%, which is greater than everything their whole economy is producing. So for that, they're in trouble, and still they're resisting change. There are people that would like to loan them money, but only if they make some changes. Go to the next slide. So this budget, if you see this green here, this is where it takes us. Does it balance today? No, it doesn't. But it leads to a balanced budget. It may be a long way out, but it's headed in the right direction. That is the main thing I like about this budget, is the fact that it leads to a balance. I know the president uses the word balance a lot in his budget proposal. He uses the word, it's a balanced approach, it's a fair approach, but it never balances. It may be a balanced approach, but it heads down this path. And there's no Republican or Democrat in Congress that wants to go on this path, and that was proven by the vote. Here is a pathway to prosperity. And there are details. Most of the details are not going to be found in the budget. There are appropriators who, once this budget passes, they take the numbers found here, and for their particular area, begin working out the details. So we will pass an appropriation bill, which will actually appropriate the money to be done. This is a skeleton. It is a picture. It is this. If you take all of the recommendations, the only thing that sticks is for this 1 year. But if you take the recommendations, which is what most of it is in the future, it will lead to this graph going down, which is green for prosperity. This is red for ready. We're building all kinds of ready. So that's a picture of probably the biggest issue, and what we'll finish the rest of the Congress on, is taking this budget and turning it into detailed language about what would be in the Appropriations Act. And that we'll try to, and we'll work those out. The Senate will not do a budget. They're just going to, and I hope they do an appropriation bill. They didn't last year. They just wait for us to pass something, and then they want to negotiate. If that's the way it is, it's the way it is. Because I'm not in the Senate, I'm in the House. We're going to follow regular order. We pass a budget. We turn the budget over to the appropriators. They began working. The subcommittees work, come up with a full appropriation bill. We pass that sometime between now and the end of the fiscal year, which is in September 30th. And then at some point in time, we'll negotiate with the Senate what the actual finished product will look like. And that's what we've been working on. What does that have to do with the state of our economy? Well, it has a lot to do with it. Show the next slide. Let me see what we got here. Yeah, that was Timothy Geithner, what he said. He doesn't have a solution, but he knows it's not this one. He doesn't like it. Next slide. How about the gas price? Yes. So if we were to boil down our economy and the certainty that businesses are looking for, I went to businesses all over this district and have met with them individually and asked them, what would it take for you to hire somebody, or what would it take to get your business going again? Because if you just took the small businesses in this country, if every single small business hired one person, just one, our unemployment would be below 5%. So I sponsored a bill called the One Act, One New Employee, which would give credits to small business, not big businesses, not C corporations that are worldwide. These are what they call S corporations, sole proprietorships, and limited liability partnerships, just small companies. And if we would give them a credit on their taxes, because they pay their taxes on their personal, not on corporate taxes, they pay it on their personal. So any income they have from their business, they pay it on their own personal taxes. We would offer to them a credit on those if they were to hire someone from the unemployment rolls and put them in as an employee, and they kept them for a full quarter. And we would give that $1,250 credit each quarter that they had a full new employee, which in the end of the year would be $5,000. And the reason I say that is it's all paid for. Because when you take someone off of the unemployment, you're not paying them. You add them to the tax rolls, they're paying withholding taxes, they're paying FICA taxes with Medicare and Social Security. And so it's a great benefit, and it's way more than the credit we'd be giving them. And if we could encourage people to get employed, well, what is it that's keeping them from hiring people? Well, first of all, they tell me it's capital. The more, as you saw here, the more the federal government borrows, the less capital there is available. So we passed a couple of bills that are small business oriented that frees up capital and allows them to gain more money so that they can expand their business. Second is confidence, and that's where this number comes in. If the public doesn't have confidence in where our economy is going, then we're in trouble, because they won't buy anything from the small business who wants to expand. So we need capital, but then we also need confidence. The gas prices sort of become just a picture of what fluctuates in our economy. This takes hundreds of dollars out of the disposable income of people every month because of the price of gas. And we have sent, House Representatives sent at least 12, 13 bills down to the Senate that would open up domestic production of oil. And I know you hear all the time, well, our domestic production has increased. Yes, but it's not near what we're buying from the Middle East. And if we want to get ourselves off of the ebb and flow of the happenings in the Middle East, whether you're for or against whatever is happening there, it's happening. And there is no certainty there. And because of that, there's no certainty in this price. So we've centered around, we'd like to build the XL pipeline, which pumps Canadian oil all the way down to our refineries in Texas, which would be the easiest thing to do, create 20,000 jobs, 100,000 in the end of ancillary jobs. It's a great job producer, but it also would help keep our prices stable. The more oil we produce here, the more energy we produce here in America, the more stable our prices are going to be. So people need confidence. They need confidence that our economy is not going to be fluctuating up, and it'll be $4 and $5. Is it going to go to that? Well, nobody knows, and so they just hold back. And then the last one is certainty. Most businesses want to have certainty that they're not going to be taxed tomorrow. They're not going to have some regulation, government regulation come in about it. It's not that government creates jobs. They don't. If they just could stay out of the way so that businesses were certain that tomorrow, in a sense, would be like today, and that we're not going to have another regulatory burden dumped on us.